What's up, demons and demonettes? Tis I, Trexie, Demon Cub. And today we're gonna be talking about a Voyage of Wonders, or is it a Voyage of Blunders? But before we get into it, as always, toss a like and subscribe down below. Alright, without further ado, let's jump into it. Let's take a look at the rules. They're not very detailed, and they're not going to tell you a lot. It just tells you you're going to unlock. Once you unlock it, meet the conditions to unlock it, it unlocks. All that type of stuff. If you choose to leave, you will receive rewards for all completed objectives. Each objective reward can only be claimed once. If you exit the domain before completing the main objective, you will not receive any rewards. That's key to note. You can edit your teams. You can't do this in the 2 tutorial missions. That'll be the day 4 mission. Starting stamina varies based on the domain you select. If you have 3 or more heroes of the same faction, it becomes that faction. So if you have like 3 or more wilders in your comp, then it is going to be a wilder comp. Celestials and Hypos both fall under the Celestial Hypo faction and a share in the hero count. Alright, and you want to use the faction bonuses, and I'll tell you what faction bonuses you want to go for. You get these stam potions, right? You get these refresh 1 every 4 hours. It's not all the potion every 4 hours. So if for some reason you did use all 10 during a tutorial, you should be okay by the time we get to this on a day 4. Now, let's talk about rewards. Alright, so you're going to get a reward for defeating the final boss. It's some diamonds and these chests. You are also going to get some for completing these objectives, which is more diamonds, chests, and gold. The only difference here is you get the hamsters for the affinity. Right? The chests have 30 keys for a lucky flip in them each. I'm actually going to switch over to my VN account. I want to show some other things, so let's jump into it here. Alright, so for whatever reason, this wasn't working before, so we can just hit quit, because what I want to do is I want to demo the team building process. So once we get into this dungeon, which unlocks in 4 days, the other ones unlock every 3 days, so it goes 4, 7, 10, right? So we'll be getting this one in a couple days. So it's going to tell you which factions you need for the dungeon. So it says Mauler 1, Wilder 1. So you want to make sure that you have one of each of these to get that faction bonus. Now, you can just go in and edit your teams, right? You can select your artifact from here. I recommend running at least 1 control team. This is easy to do if you have a Wilder comp you need to run, or a Graveborn comp you need to run. Alright, so we just have Almas, Arden, Aaron, Bon, and the twins. Very solid control team, very good for early push. I would avoid running Tassie in this one because she's on the weaker side for me. And 2, Arden's generally better in like a pure control situation. This is more of that special situation that we use on stages with Tassie, and she needs those blasting charms. So at a base level, I think Arden is slightly better, so we're running that here. It is also worth noting that all of our heroes are getting bumped up to a Mythic Plus here. As you can see, because we are on my VN account, like, I don't have a big Freya Stone here. I haven't spent yet. This is a fairly new account. I just got 2 copies of Freya Stone. One I got on a lucky pull because I was pulling for 1 copy, and then one from the 1125 chest. And then I've been building the twins ever since. Alright, so then for our Mauler comp, we'll just go similar to something that we would use in push. Why am I noting a push? Because these are going to be PvE mobs that we are fighting. So it's all going to be that 5x5 format, right? So 5v5. So something you would normally be seeing in a stage or Arcane Labyrinth. So you want something that's good for there. So we're running what used to be the second strongest push team, which is Maulers. We're dropping on Tundra, if you know how that team works, and we're throwing in a Siren, right? And we're just throwing in a decent artifact, which I figured would work well with this team. Alternatively, you could run something like a Confining, and Star Shard might be better on the other team. Anyway, we got Brutus, Smokey, Odie, Coco, and Siren. Alternatively, you could run a second tank over Siren. I would run either Fryasto, or again, as I mentioned her, you could run on Tundra. So that's kind of the team building a portion. I'm not going to demo it here. I was trying to take a look at it here earlier, but it broke. So we're going to go ahead. We'll go in and we'll hop in to 2, and we'll talk about some things. We just get the base teams here. It's going to set it to normal. I am going to hop over and show some things that we don't see here on the VN side. Alright, so again, no more than one normal potion to use. That's only these. The potions that you find on the ground are going to be free potions. And then you want to try to complete these others, right? We got to figure a sneak attack. That's where you attack from behind, defeat the final boss, and defeat 15 monsters in total. Now, you can skip monsters, but it's worth noting that you may want to kill them off just for the attack power, right? Because when you kill the monsters, you get a bonus to your overall attack power. We'll say you level up, right? So you can see we get an overall bonus here. So this is the sneak attack, similar to like a JRPG where you would strike the enemy from behind. There's no ability to strike here. We just have to hit them from. We just walk into them from behind and attack from behind. We get an advantage bonus. Onslaught is kind of like a chain win bonus, right? So if every fight's gonna cost a minimum of 4 stamina. If you lose a fight, it's going to be a lot more stamina. If a hero dies, it's gonna be stamina as well, right? So here we see that they're wilder, so we want to switch. It's a pather. Patroller, so we want to just kind of like wait and then hit them from behind when they path away. So we can clear that out. We get that. You're gonna notice that we do have waypoints, so you can teleport to these waypoints because you want to save as much time to try to maximize your onslaught bonus. So here we're gonna wait until she passes back around to hit her. In that X, grab these 2 buffs. So these are attack buffs. They just add power to your team. So you want to get as many of those as well as possible. So again, we're just going to switch to Lightbearer. For this, we got to kill. Sometimes you can't pick them up if they're too close from an enemy. You have to defeat the enemy. Then you can pick up the buff on the ground. Alright, so we get the 3 buff on the ground. We can save a couple seconds by teleporting back here. So, as I mentioned, you can pick up these stamina potions on the ground. You may not want to pick this one right now, but we're going to do it anyway. You can see it recovers 10 stamina. I think it actually recovers a little bit more than that, but we only had 10 stam to recover, so we can't recover more stam than your team has. That's worth noting as well. So now, with these green mobs, you're not even going to get to see it in action. You're just going to run through them. Kind of like similar to like how you would beat the gray mobs on the map. Alright, so then we can get our speed up bonus. Like I said, we'll just beat this one. We can do this real quick. Alrighty. So we can leave that this damn potion, or we can grab it. See, you can see it doesn't. We already completed it, but it doesn't count towards that anyway. Alright, so then occasionally you're going to get puzzles. As you can see, we do the puzzle. It's going to teleport us behind this guy, so we're going to be able to get that advantage strike. And you see by completing the puzzle, we get a buff. The tutorial ones are fairly easy, so now we've got the key. We need the key to go through the door. So now he passes back this way. So we kind of want to wait. We could just ignore him or just do that. I mean, fairly easy. Again, if they're green, we can just run through them. Alright, so those ones are pretty decent. Now, what we could do is you can theoretically save that stamina potion until our team is a little bit lighter. And you can see that's the enemy boss. There is a tad bit on the stronger side. But we need to go get the keys before we can even think about fighting him. Now, you're going to notice you're going to see a lot of stuff like this. So, basically, what we can do is we can grab that. Right, so this guy's a 703. He's pretty beefy. We can, again, save this stamina potion. So, you just have to make sure you don't run into the mob. You can kind of sneak around mobs this way and finish them off. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to grab this stamina potion. You can see it gives me plus 20. So we're filled back up there. So typically what I like to do is I like to get as strong as possible before hitting those red mobs. It's just going to give you an easier time in battle. So now where it was red, and now it is white, and we can hit it with our wilder team. Again, if we could set our own teams, we could run control more effectively, and it would be a much better team, and we could probably run into those red mobs. I forgot there was a teleport here, whatever. Alright, so what we could do now is, like I said, we skipped that stamina potion earlier. We can get it now, because that was a big stamina potion. The different sizes give different bonuses, so we'll just go here, hit this guy. Alright, so you're gonna notice that this guy doesn't have a weakness. I would use the team that you're not gonna fight the boss to clear these out with, if you can. Obviously, if you can, a control team would have been very good here as well, just because it's so strong. So we cleared that out. Just hit this guy. We just want to kill him off, so we get that attack buff as well. So it's generally not a bad idea, unless you're really trying to like min-max your stamina use, to just use it to clear out these mobs. Now, I'm going to show you something here. I don't know if we're going to be able to kill it with this squad, but one of the things you can do is you can use your non-faction team. If you're at this point, alright, so we're at the boss. He's still very strong. We may not want to run our light bearer comp against this because it is so strong. So what we could do is we can throw our wilder comp at it, right? And what's going to happen is he's going to take a big hit to stamina if we lose. Right? So we lost. Alright. So now you're going to see what happens. So he loses 220 strength and we lose a fair amount of stamina. Now we could do that again, considering we have a ton of stamina, and you can weaken enemies this way. You can use this against the big bad elite mobs, like I said, that don't have the weak point. But as you can see, even by running the wrong squad twice here, we had weakened it enough that we were able to beat it. So that is one strategy you can use there. So now we cleared it. We're going to get our claim on leave. You can continue if you missed some of the other things, you can backtrack and get those. So let's take a look at something we didn't see, and we'll see if this works this time. All right, so we have our team set, right? All right, so we're gonna go here. So one of the things you have to do in the later ones is you're gonna have to worry about key management. So let's see if this works. So now it does. Yeah, of course, now it wants to work. So we won't go through the whole dungeon, because I showed that on the previous one. Now we gotta engage this guy. Alright, so if you notice, we can't sneak attack this guy, but if we had a key, we could go get that key. But we don't want to use the keys, because the keys are use it and lose it. And if we go up here, right, one of the objectives here is to defeat powerful foes. So we've got these two guys here. And we need 4 keys. There's only going to be 4 keys in this dungeon. So you have to manage your keys. So if you want to be able to complete this objective here, what you'll need to do is you'll need to fight this mob. So I would just make sure you get up the other mobs, get the bonuses, and then attack him when he's not red. Alright, so we could get the key that way. So again, our team easily beats him. Alright, so we can just hit map, or we can just teleport back up here. And then we'll just go up, and then I'll show you the other things. Because there's some stuff that's in this map that's not in the tutorial maps, like killing the powerful foes. There's a little bit more advanced puzzles to get around mobs that's in this map. Right, so as you can see, again, here we have another, we could use our key, but then we're going to lose our key, right? And it's the same thing here. So we have to kill these mobs. So what we want to do, like I said, you want to make sure you just get enough power where you can defeat those mobs head on, because you can't get the sneak attack necessarily on this mob. We can get the sneak attack here on this mob. So one of the things to note is you are going to have these bombs behind here. Right, so there's obviously, it says, oh, bombs, there's a way we can get behind, so we can just run around here. Right, so we go through there. So you can see this is a powerful mob, so we're going to wait again until we have a higher power. Now, this is a mid-ranked, so there's like the 3 different potion sizes. This is mid-rank, that's 20, so we'll grab it for our smaller comp because it was lower. So as you can see, we could go just straight down here, but there's some stuff up here, so maybe we want to grab the stuff up here. So what you could do alternatively is we could kill those other guys, or we could come back and hit the red mob. But again, we have a control team. I'm going to show you, like, we'll just get a little bit of strength. But with the control team, this red mob's not going to be a problem. So your the comps you do make, see, we even lost the advantage there. But just running control in general here is going to be very, very strong. So that's something to keep in mind too. So we have a puzzle here. We have these unique teleporters that I've never seen before. Ooh, I think we fucked up. But we wanna make sure that we get these. Because oh no, we're good. This one's a little tricky. But we want to make sure that you get these because they do give that attack power bonus, right? So you're gonna see we get the attack power bonus here, which we definitely want because we're gonna need it to defeat those powerful foes. So here again, it's green. We don't really need to worry about the attack bonus. Alright, so we can pop that. We can get the stamp potion here. So we get the key, right? We get the attack bonus, and then we can hit this guy. Still gonna be red, but again, we have a decently strong comp. So that's where, like, comp comes in, right? So yes, well, these ones are a little bit more scary, and you could see it took 5 stamina instead of 4 stamina. We still managed to beat it without too much of a problem, right? So you can see we lost 8 stamina there. Oof, that was rough. Alright, and then we get these attack bonuses, right? So then that's going to set us up. So I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but what we would do is we would clear out this guy, or we would get this key, and then, oh wait, I do want to, well, we'll go up here, because I do want to show you the other type of puzzle that we can see. So again, a red mob, we have a control team, we should be fine. Alright. Oof, we did take a big hit to stamina. Alright, so you're gonna see, we got another puzzles like this, alright. So we gotta move the laser. If we move the laser through here, it creates the shortcut that we can get around the door. And if we move it here, it's going to open it up so we can get to these mobs as well. So there's gonna be puzzles that you need to do, right? So we get that clears out that one. So we just kind of keep doing it. Right, and this one's a little hard to see because it is off screen. So I had to kind of play around with it to kind of get it. And then you get there, and then that would give us that. So what we could do is we could go up here. We get the attack buff and the key. Right, and then we would just, alternatively get the power. I would just run through these mobs, eat the forest stam, whatever. It's not the end of the world. Alright, so we got 4 keys. We still need, as you can see, we need 1 more key to conserve. Now, you got options here. Do you want to get the attack buff? I would get the attack buffs here and then attack that guy, because then we'll lose a less stem. And we'll get more power. We want to get more power because, again, those mobs that we are going to be fighting that don't have a weakness are going to be very strong. So we're definitely going to be one as strong as possible to fight them. We're probably going to use the control team on them, right? So having a control team for this is big. And it's fairly easy to run Aaron Olmus here, again, because all of the cures are getting bumped up to Mythic for this. Alright, we'll take a look at who's there. Alright, so we can clear that. Alright, so we'll just clear this guy out just to get the advantage. Again, we have Onslaught, which does add some bonus power to our team. So we just have to undo this, right? So we got that. So you won't see the minor fights in the dungeon. You'll just see the big fights, right? So the big fights being, if we go back here now, right? So we can open up these. Now this is where we'll clear out 1 and see how much stamina it costs, and this is when we would start to consider using a stamina potion. But as you can see, running a control here was help. Yeah, it didn't help. So we're gonna have to use a stamina potion. Weakening, right? It took a big hit. Our team got beat up pretty bad. It's only going to be a 20 stam. So yeah, what we'll do is we'll try to beat this off. Then we can get that bonus. And again, if you have stronger heroes, this obviously is going to be a tad bit easier. Right, so if like on this account I had more Supreme plus 10 heroes, that would help. Like on my main account where we have a ton of plus 20 heroes, it's gonna be a breeze. A lot of these things are gonna be a breeze. I might just be able to just like run in there with my main account and just wipe everything out. So you see where we can't kill it off in the first one. This is what I mean about weakening. Now we are going to take a big hit to stamina. Yeah, so we lost 15 stem, so we're just gonna run it again. Now that they're weaker, we should have an easier time beating them. Right, so we beat it. It's going to be like 7 stem. That wiped out like half of our stem. Alright, so now we can go back up here. That guy's a 768. This could be a little rough. Maybe we should have used the Mauler comp to weaken the boss. Those sub-bosses, yeah, because he's weak against the Wilders. So what we'll do here is we're gonna try to finish it. So we'll use the Maulers as many times as we can to weaken it, and then we can run the Wilders against it. Because again, you saw it's gonna be pretty strong. Alright, so we chunked it down 190-2. We'll fight it again here at 576. This is what I mean about effective use of your stem to kind of clear these dungeons, especially when your heroes aren't as built up. Alright, so we gotta clear it here, otherwise we fail. And we're good. So like I said, you can use them to weaken the mobs, and that way you don't have to use your stamina potions and you can complete this extra objective. So, I'm just gonna put some of my thoughts in here at the tail end of the video now that we went through it, and there's a reason why I wanted to showcase it here on the VN server. Now, it has been up over a week, so we can definitively say that this does not reset. I guess the hope is that when we get 1.3.4 here, probably in another week or so, that we get this additional one, right? So we should be getting it, I think, fairly soon here on the VN server, and maybe like a few days after this opens on the global side. Otherwise, this is going to be a very, very boring event, right? We're just gonna finish it in 10 days. It's gonna be done. It's going to be over with and forgotten because there's no replayability here, because again, it doesn't reset. I think they missed some opportunities. I think this should have been co-op. And maybe we could have run, like, you know, have multiple people in the dungeon or running it together, and then you could have the whales, as they say, bus the lowered powered here players through it, right? Busing is the concept that I heard first in a Lost Ark. It's where the whales with all the really good gear kind of carry the team through the bosses and help the players that are more on the light spin or free-to-play side get their gear as well. So I think that would have been fun. Having it single player is kind of lame. We do need more modes where we interact with players in a PvE type environment to build more friendships and less, you know, like hatred and rivalries that we might get from beating on each other all the time in PvP, which can be frustrating, especially with some of the shenanigans that may go on in Arena. Now, I also think that it should have a reset weekly. I think that's another missed opportunity, because it would be a good way, if anything, to farm keys. They could reduce the diamond rewards if they don't want to give out that many diamonds for it. You already have that first time completion reward right in the 600 diamonds here, right? So basically, when it refreshes, you would have your first time clear rewards, and then you would have subsequent clear rewards after the weekly reset. And maybe you cut the diamond gain in half, down by 25%, and then you up the keys. Maybe they give like a gold chest after the repeat, and the gold chest gives like 50 keys or something. So it's a more effective, I think it would have been a more effective, more fun way to farm keys. Again, the most efficient way to farm keys for Lucky Flip is still going to be Titan Reaver. And not this, but it would have been a nice mix. Now, it is worth mentioning that the chest from the keys goes into your inventory, so you can use it at any time to supplement your key gains for the week. Maybe if you don't have a lot of time that week, you have these sitting there, and you need, like, I don't know, 30 to 100 to fill out a node or something, and you really want to fill out that one node, I would use it for that. And that's going to be it for this one in Enjoy the Event. Like I said, it's a fun event. I just think they missed a lot of opportunity with this event, and it could have been something much more, but it's not. Anyway, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!